the king, he making connections, he building his team, connecting the dreams, lock in on the vision, gotta believe, be about his business and you'll receive. Yeah, we crowned by the king, yeah, we crowned by the king, yeah, we crowned, had to get to work, had to stop all the chit chat, too many talents, can't waste them, yeah, that's big facts, making kingdom moves, standing on business like me, Shaq, aiming for our goals, click clack, moving forward, no need to reach back, tell me where I need to preach at, tell me where I need to speak at.
All right, my brother, we are back again with another episode of the CROWNEDCAST podcast. My name is Joseph Honeyset, and with me is my co-host, Mr. Joel Ngulu. How are you doing today, sir?
Man, blessed, highly favored, man. Episode 39. Let's get it, bro.
39. My goodness, man. We're almost at 52, and that would be a full year of podcasting, which is crazy in my mind. It's just the power of consistency, man. It's incredible. Like, honestly, it's incredible. Like, I think it's super dope that we have like almost 40 episodes, and we stuck with it. We, regardless of what came up, like we still followed through, whether it was on the day that we needed to release it, the time we needed to release it, or not, man. But there's power in consistency, which that actually is something I want to talk about, just because I like giving game about what we're learning. And I don't know if you have any topics that you want to dive into first, but if not, I'm going to dive into the power of consistency because I was having a great conversation this weekend with one of our ambassadors here in Dallas, and we're talking about TikTok. We were talking about social media. And if anybody's been on my TikTok, it's completely different from the other type of content that I do on Instagram, on Facebook. Obviously, that's more business focused with Crowned and just being an entrepreneur. But my TikTok, my Instagram content doesn't translate over to my TikTok the same way that it does with views and numbers, right? Yeah. And so, we had a conversation around that. But I finally found something that works, that shows my personality of like having fun. And I don't think, like, for me, I like to be serious. I know when I need to be serious, especially, hey, we're about our business. But there's a side of me, man, I like to have fun. Like, I'm always trying to have fun. Like, I want to, be successful, to have the freedom to do whatever I want and live my life based upon God and then just family. And then there's fun in there, right? And so, probably the highest grossing view post that I've had on my TikTok currently is at 22,000 views. It's got like 6,000 likes, like 500 different shares. And there's hundreds of comments on it, right? So I've kind of kept that formula, and not all posts have been that great, but I average around like 2,500 to 5,000 views. And so, do you remember Country Wayne?
Sounds familiar.
Country Wayne, he was big like in 2018, 19, and 2020. He's a comedian, black guy that was doing like skits on Facebook, kind of like Desi Banks, if you've seen his stuff.
Drewski.
Yeah, like skits like that, like Drewski. Drewski's now the GOAT of it, but I heard a story that he was posting 32 times a day, and I mean, that's incredible. And so obviously he got the traction around that because he was consistently posting every single day, 32 posts every day. And I think a lot of times as we're building our business, right, because social media is integrated into business, it's another funnel from all your other marketing things. And now where the world is going is like, that is kind of like the main way for you to get eyeballs on what you're doing outside of your local area, right? If you're a service-based business, well, dude, like your local area is only confined to where you're at, but all these other people don't know what you do, and you could probably serve them in some capacity, right? And so the conversation was, what if we applied 32 posts each day to what we're doing, right? And we started to do the math of like, all right, if I posted 32 times a day and I averaged around 5,000 views, what would that translate over 6 days, like a week, all right? And after 6 days, that'd be 1 million views in 1 week, combined with all the videos. And so you're probably going to have one or two that pop like mine did with 22,000, views and still growing. But, like if you had that mentality of like, it's not about getting, because here's the thing. I didn't do 32 videos. I told Jeremiah was who I was talking to. I was like, I want to see if I sit down for an hour, how much I can do. And like how many videos I can make. So today I tested that theory and I made 14 videos in an hour and I posted them all today. Right. So we'll see what that translates to. But it's not about, hey, let me do what somebody else did. It's about lifting the lid. It's about growing and expanding your current capacity in what you can do. Because halfway through that hour, bro, I was over it. I didn't want to keep on making videos, but I was like, I told myself, I'm going to see how much I can do in an hour. And it got to 14 posts, which is great. It's not 32, kind of got almost halfway there. But what if for an hour each day, I consistently post 14 times? Like, what does that translate into like viewer count? Even if it's 1,000, here, let's do the math real time online while we're live with everybody on Instagram watching us. What is up, y'all? And on YouTube, this is going to come out on YouTube. So, all right. So what I say, 1,000 posts or 1,000 views per post, 14 videos. So that's 14,000 views in a day. Pretty good, right? And we do that through the week. That's 84,000 views. I don't like to do things on Sunday, so that's why I do 6 days, but it's 84,000 views. Now, okay, you do that in a month, you have 336,000 views. But my point is, it's not about the views. It's about what happens if you raise the bar, raise the level in which you're consistent at. What will that do for your business, your brand, your product, your service, right? We live in an attention economy. And so if anything, the more eyeballs that you get, the better it's going to be. But again, a lot of times we think, hey, if I post one time, that's it. Like that's good enough, right? And it's not. It's really not. That's not how you go viral. That's not how you play into the algorithm. That's not even how you do business. I love the Air Force. That's what I was previously in, and we had core values. One of those core values was excellence in all you do. And then the Bible talks, I don't know the specific verse, maybe you do off the top of your head, but the Bible talks about doing everything 100% as if you're doing it for the Lord, right? Our whole thing, all the content I'm making is about God. It's all Christian humor and Bible humor and church humor, right? So it's about getting that goodness, getting that light out. And what's cool is, again, it's not about the views. It's about just putting out the goodness out there. I mean, people have commented on some of my posts like, bro, thank you so much for making me laugh today. I need it. I'm just making funny videos, but people are going through their day. Maybe they're having a hard time, just like we all do. And hey, maybe I changed somebody's, thought process, or I interrupted their bad day with some joy, some happiness that we could all laugh at, right? And all relate to. So, the call to action is do more and expand that capacity, because it's only going to help. It's never not going to move you forward. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I wanted to open today up.
Nah, you came with the fire. I mean, your hat. After seeing your hat come on, I'm like, he's finna come with the heat today.
Hey, bro, got to be bold, man.
Nah, you're right, bro. But so you're telling me, man, being in sales, if I only make 5 calls, that's crazy. You better make 100 calls for one potential lead. That's what's about. Like, it's crazy. Like in sales and even businesses that thrive, how many times they're like pushing it out. That's what I market. Like I talk to business owners about marketing. Some of them are afraid for that risk. It's the same thing in business. It's like there's always going to be a risk, but you have to try. So you have to market, because if you don't, your competitors are pushing it out. Like, bro, Coca-Cola, I think they spend like $1 million. It was like a stats like 1.5 mil or something like that. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but it's over $1 million a month, bro. That's wild. I'm just
Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola on advertising, right? And I'm not saying spend like all your money on advertising, right? I'm not saying that. But if you're not even doing it, if you don't have a budget, if you're not putting out things, there's no point. You're not going to grow. And so it's in every aspect: business, I'm in sales, if you're in that specifically, if you're even growing a ministry, right? Like the only way to grow is to like push it out, like be consistent in meeting, which the Bible talks about. Talks about no neglect meeting, like always meet, always be consistent in meeting, even if it's for no reason. But you said you guys are going to meet consistent on this day, be consistent about it. You say you're going to put this much content out every day, be consistent about it. Just always do it, and something's going to hit. And so it's biblically, the millionaires are doing it, billionaires are doing it. Then why aren't the regular like people like me, the sheep, why aren't we doing it? It's because of like that laziness factor, and like I just feel like people just want it to come to them, and it's like, when does that ever happen in any aspect of life? You know, when does that ever happen? You have to like put it out there, and so I agree 100% what you're saying, bro. And I get frustrated because since I've been marketing, I know how much you have to push out there and how much you have to risk. I get it, and having to teach people that gets sometimes redundant and sometimes gets annoying, but you still got to keep going. Same thing with me. You still got to keep going, man. And so
exactly,
that's what it's about, bro.
And that's what I don't even think it's a question of laziness, man. I think it's more of like you said on the back end of that comment was we just want it to come to us without putting any type of work into it, or just enough work, but not like overly working ourselves. But that's where greatness comes from, is putting up the repetitions. I mean, how many times was it when we played basketball? We were in the gym and, shooting 100 shots from one position, right? Like Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, as Stephen A says, the greatest shooter that God ever created, right? Like the only reason why that, yes, he may have some talent, but this man shoots 1,000 shots from like one spot. So you get that muscle memory, you get that repetition, you find out what works. It's the same thing in every other aspect of life. We just like to compartmentalize it. Like chances are somebody listening to this is like amazing at one thing. You weren't born amazing at that one thing. As time went on, as you kept with it, as you were consistent with it, you started to actually get some real results. And I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we feel sorry for ourselves because we hop online and we see successful people that do the same thing that we do, and you're like, man, screw you.
I mean, bro, what's that quote from Bruce Lee? Like, which man am I more afraid of? The man that kicks 1,000 different ways, and the man that kicks one way 1,000 different ways. Like basically, mastering a man that knows one way, or a man that knows multiple ways. Which man is more deadly? And he
said, I'd rather be a master of one kick. Oh no, I'd rather practice one kick 1,000 times than practice 1,000 kicks one time.
Yeah, bro. It's that consistency, man. Actually, I was training this high school kid, and he just gets kind of frustrated when he's missing shots. I'm like, bro, you shot only 100 shots. What are you frustrated about, bro? Like, shoot 1,000 shots and do that every day. And then if you're not getting progress, you get frustrated. And I opened his eyes up, and I'm like, but what do you think, bro? Like, we did a drill, man. We basically shot over 500 shots, and he was dead. And I was like, bro, Steph Curry does that on his cool down. He'll do his whole workout, and then he'll do 1,000 shots, and that's every day. I understand you don't have that time. I get you, but even when he was your age, that's what he was doing. And it's all about that consistency. Like, be obsessed with it. I think Kobe, bro, for me, Kobe worked harder than any other athlete, even more than Jordan.
Yeah,
Jordan was naturally gifted, like athleticism. LeBron was naturally gifted athleticism, like, physically specimen. But Kobe, he wasn't the most athletic. Lucky he had the height, but bro, he was just, I'm gonna outwork you, I'm gonna outwork you, I'm gonna outwork you. Yeah. And that's the whole point of, like, they call them Mamba mentality, right? But Christians, man, we need to have crisis mentality. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Jesus did every day. He's like, I'm not gonna skip a beat. I'm gonna wake up in the morning, 4 o'clock, go spend the day with my Father. I don't care how tired I am. I'm getting that hours in because I know what my day is gonna require. Every day was like a specific thing he did. And so and then last thing I'll mention, I remember I saw this YouTube, man. I was just on YouTube scrolling, but this kid, he did a challenge for 30 days. He was like, I'm gonna do the Jesus challenge, waking up every day at 4 o'clock and just read my Bible. He did it. Like the first 2 days was awful. He would wake up, read for like 10 minutes, fall back asleep. But after 30 days, man, he's like, I'm gonna continue this forever now, because you unlock something, you unlock a pattern, and that's what cold plunges are for. That's what tough things are for. Like, put yourself in those situations. The more you do it, bro, you're gonna stand firm, and then people are gonna just be like, bro, how you doing it? They're gonna be like, oh, you cheated, or you got blessed, or you got a hand me down. Nah, brother, I put serious hours into it. So that's the only way. And for some reason, I've been angry. I'm like, God, it has to be another way. And God's like, nah, bro, you're not getting out of what you're going through in life until you understand you're gonna put through it the work. Why? Because no other man can get glory. You can't get glory, and you'll realize that God is the only way that allows you to increase. You know,
man.
That's kind of the
We want a magician,
man.
That's what we want. We want a magician, and this doesn't work like that. So, again, this is what I'm learning. I'm not even, what the high level people are at, but like, do what you can, but also push yourself. That's the most important thing. Do what you can, but push yourself, because eventually one day your max will be your warm up.
Exactly.
And then when people are like, oh, you're so lucky. Yeah, you got this. It came easy. You're talented. You're like, bro, I was posting 32 times a day. What are you talking about? Like, have you done that? Okay, you haven't done that? Then you should probably do that. And then when you do that for over a year, come and talk to me. But that is, by the way, that is what mentorship is. That is what coaching is. Hey, you're working with me because of my results. I'm going to tell you how to get to those results. Don't be emotional with those results. Don't be attached to them. Be unemotional. When you're unemotional about the journey, what it takes, you can actually be like have more peace about it, because winners are trackers. Everything's a numbers game, right? Like you said, 5 sales calls. You're like, bro, really? Talk to me after 100.
Yeah, bro.
Talk to me after 100, man. So it's just what it takes. It's what's required. And yeah, man. So you mentioned this hat. Well, firstly, shout out to Jeremiah, because man, just proud of this brother. He's got a clothing brand called Solely Wrapped Around God, and he's just doing amazing things. And he has a drop that's coming out, I think, tomorrow. So go support him. He's on the up and coming, and he's an incredible part of Crown, which you guys will see here soon on the podcast, on videos. And him and Samuel and Gula are absolutely killing it here in Dallas and being a great help for us. So that's why I wanted to give that shout out. But also shout out to Jake Nix, because he gave me this hat right here, and I've had a lot of great compliments about it. People asking where they can get it, and unfortunately, it's a 1 of 1. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a 1 of 1, but it's not for sale right now. So he wanted to give it to a just an on fire, really influential influencer. And so he gave it to me. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess, man, take it, bro. Cause
I personally requested the hat, but it's funny. I've gotten a lot of great compliments from it. But man, I got the most engagement ever on a Threads post by posting this hat, and all of it was hate. In literally 3 hours, I got 60 plus comments of just like hate and trolls, because the post was about God. It looks like a MAGA hat. I mean, it is a MAGA hat. Make America gospel again. And so when you combine the two, people freak out. And there's an attack on Christianity right now that I think is super important to talk about. Yesterday, there was a situation going on in Michigan at I think an LDS church. Now, I'm gonna hold my personal opinions on that. But man, Christianity is on an attack right now, and this is why community is so important. This is why we all have to be strong together. Stand up. Hey, I'm not scared to lose my life for God, right? Because if it gets to tribulation, I know I'm gonna be met with that question regardless. I might as well meet the Creator doing what I'm supposed to. You see what I'm saying? And so I mentioned this post because a lot of times I think that is what deters us from being so bold about the most important relationship and thing in our life. We're worried about what other people think, say, perceive, whatever it may be. And we want everybody to love us, right? I think it's in human nature. We want to get along with everybody. But you can't be scared to be bold about your faith. You gotta lean into it strong, man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get into this theory stuff because I don't care. But Like, you know what's going on right now, bro? What the enemy's doing is pretty much like using Christianity to divide. So what's gonna happen is basically left versus right, but how do you separate that? Because they're basically want everyone to choose a side. That's what's happening. Where the God wants that, but also the world wants that as well. Because it's getting to that point. That's kind of how you know we're getting close to the end. People always fear. How do you know? There's many signs. Revelation speaks on that, but a big sign is like, hey, when you got to choose left and right, there's no straddling the fence, and so that's good, but it also comes with a lot of persecution as Christians because they're trying to decide what the side is. It's either light and dark. That's how Christians know it, but they're going to label it as like a political affiliate or do you identify with this group, right? That's what they want. And so on the other side, you're either going to be for the world, right, or you're going to be like for Christ. But with that, you have like political affiliates. So what's for the world, right? It's usually people who are like more liberal, like it's all me. So you would say liberal, but conservative is supposed to be for God, right? But now the conservative part is getting cut to a different, even in half with there. True Christians and then people who just go to church on Sunday, who just believe in the propaganda, they just watch social media, and then they say there's gonna be two categories in that. And so the reason why that hat's going to stand out in the next few years, people are really going to get angry at Christians, is because you're going to have people who are fake Christians standing for one side are going to do a lot of wrong things, right, for the world, and people are going to blame Christians because of that group. And so Christians are they're going to really get pinned to an identity like, hey, you belong with that affiliate group, and so we hate you. And so that's when the world's really going to hate Christians even more. And then that's going to turn into like a Christians versus the world thing. You get what I'm saying? How that's happening. So
I mean, it's been written.
It's been written, but then I remember even as think about it, bro, as a black man, right? Like it's gonna be tough for a lot of Christian black men to stand for Christ in this time, right? Because if oh man, if you're conservative, if you're a black, you're already getting looked at like as downcast, right, outcast, right? But then when it gets worse and worse, man, it's gonna be. I really think it's gonna really be hard to stand for Christ because you're really gonna get canceled by your friends, family. But then whenever it becomes like a national thing, like everyone's kind of in agreement, you're gonna be canceled by the nation. You're gonna be canceled by the world. And so persecution is coming whether you like it or not. We're just the people who are accepting it or going through it right now are gonna go through it first, but they're also gonna be stronger. And so whenever it gets worse, they're gonna be like, bro, I've been going through this persecution for a while now. I'm good. And the new people who kind of join in and want to follow Christ, we're going to have to be their leaders. And so there's a lot of pruning happening. So the remnant, those people, they've been pruned, they've been tried, nothing has been working for them for some reason. They've been having to wait for the Lord. But I think it's on purpose because God's waiting for a certain moment whenever the church becomes one, they actually start doing life. That comes with scarcity. That comes with the fear of what's happening when church gets together. That's when God can really like give him the power, give him the keys to really like be that light. Because right now we're all fragmented, all separated. But getting back to what I'm saying is Christians, man, being bold about your faith and what's coming, bro, it's gonna be really scary. Like it's not gonna just be like, oh, I don't want to say that. No, you are literally gonna be scared to like going to stores, going to gyms, going to public spaces because it's gonna be. I think it's gonna get worse, man.
So, yeah, I mean, it is gonna get worse. Which again, it's written, so it's expected, right? All we can do is just show that love regardless of the hate, man. And that's the biggest thing, you know. Just, you gotta pray for people, you know. It's like turn the other cheek.
Yeah, man.
We talked about that last episode, didn't we? Just how it's like turning the other cheek is just outside of our human nature, and that's where the real strength comes from, you know. But saw yesterday, 7,000 Christians have been killed in this last year in Nigeria.
Oh, Nigeria, yeah, I saw that.
And so, you know, sometimes people in America, we don't necessarily always have like a good grasp on what else is happening in the world because we think America is the world. And so, like, you know, somebody listens to this like, what are you talking about? That, you know, somebody just attacked a school or a church. Like, it's not that big of a deal, right? Like, first of all, it's always a big deal regardless of who it is, right? Innocent people shouldn't die. People shouldn't be so hateful that they're killing, right? But there's a specific attack on Christians, and you're going to start to see it continuously be swayed, how it's continuously being swayed. I think the Charlie Kirk situation was a an example of that, how much division came from that. But again, the representation that we have and how we handle things and just what gives us peace and our strength comes from God. So that's why we can forgive. That's why we can love. But that's why it's so important, as you were talking about, like to be with each other, do life with each other, find community with each other, so you can rely on each other during those hard times. It's like, oh man, my bro Joel, he's I see all the hate comments about him. Like, these are nothing, right? And by the way, if you're thinking like a business person, you're thinking like a content creator, comment as much as you want, because it's only going to help the algorithm see what I'm doing more and more. So the joke is on you, my friend. Keep getting Jesus out there.
But honestly, that's what the news does, bro. Why I think they keep doing news always puts off bad stuff, because they're like, the joke's on y'all. You guys are commenting. You guys are falling for all this propaganda, but it's helping us because we're getting eyeballs, we're getting paid, and so people really understood that. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah. So either way, we win. You can be mad, but we still winning.
Yeah. So go ahead, man. I mean, it's gonna get worse. I'm just waiting for it. Man, there's a certain moment the Lord has me waiting for. That I've been prepared for it my whole life, and so I'm waiting for it. But to talk about tough topics, bro. So I like to ask the hard questions, or I get asked a lot of hard questions. Like, one of the hard questions, I would say a tough topic about Christianity is like, man, if God is so good, or if God's going to come back, what if people who never heard of God? What if those tribes, because you've heard like those countries who still haven't been developed, like, I mean, a lot in Africa for sure, but there's certain areas around the world where, bro, they have never been seen a cell phone. And then people are always get asked that, like, what about them? Are they going to go to hell? You know what I mean? Are they they don't know Jesus and all that? And so that's a topic that I wanted to bring up.
You gonna put me on the spot like that to answer that?
Oh, no, I just want to talk. I can answer it because I know the answer, because I've been asked that all the time, and I say the same answer all the time. But I just wanted to bring that topic up because we talk about the end times, right? We're talking about in Revelation, and people are like, well, what about these people? God can't get rid of them because they didn't have a chance. Well, brother, they do have a chance. That's my answer. But
yeah, I mean, so your answer is everybody has a chance.
Yes, sir.
And so, well, number one, like if we're talking about the end times, I mean, the Bible says Jesus will come back whenever, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it says Jesus will come back when every man and woman has heard about Jesus, right? And so if everybody's heard about Jesus, that means you do have a chance, right? It's your choice to accept, and it's also your choice to reject. And by the way, it's your life. We have free will. You can do whatever you want, right? For me, I just accepted Jesus and built that relationship over a long period of time. People, that die before hearing the gospel, it's a great question. I think it's a deep question. We need a theologian to answer this. But if I had to assume, so I look at it like this: like when children die, they never had the opportunity to know Christ. So again, I don't know if this is biblical, but I know God and Jesus has a special heart for children, right? And so while they may not have that chance, I do believe they go to heaven. If somebody's going to ask me, well, what age range does it happen? I don't know. I don't know. I'm talking about infants at this point, because that's just where they came from, right? And so, yeah, everybody has a choice, right? Like, how did people in the the Old Testament,
very good,
to them, right? Like, there was no Jesus beforehand. There was God, and you talk about like Abraham, but like people knew that there was a one true God, and the people that rejected him, in my personal opinion, went to hell, right? Like, I don't think I'm gonna get to heaven and see the Egyptian pharaoh up there and be like, "Oh, dude, you made it here! Wow!" Like, I'm surprised, right? Like, I don't believe that. So, yeah, I think everybody has a chance. I do believe that God meets us at certain points in our life. We just may not recognize that.
Very good.
Yeah, that's my answer. That's tough, man. I thought you were gonna ask me why does God let people die?
I was gonna ask that because that was the first one I was gonna ask, but I was like, no. This can kind of tie into it as well, but we'll get there later. No, that's it. I mean, you pretty much kind of hit it on the nail. So, what's the whole point of life, bro? People don't understand. That's what people think. Like people think, oh, bro, like getting heaven's the goal. No, you're supposed to have heaven on earth, man. That's the whole point. Jesus came to bring it back. So, what is heaven on earth? Right? And what does Jesus talk about? You need to be like a child to be in heaven. But what is that? So I remember in 2020, I told you the story before I fasted. I was just like, man, I was on fire. I was like, God, you got to give me one word. And God was speaking. He said, I was like, God, I know you're love, but give me a word I could just describe what the Bible is, what's the purpose. And he told me humility. And that was 2020, right with the first day of 2020. Ever since then, I studied humility. And I was like, okay, what about this? I get it. Bro, every story in the Bible is humility and pride. Every single story you read is about humility, pride. Okay? When you're prideful, it's do as thou will. That's what he goes back to Adam and Eve. Satan tries to get you to worship yourself. Like, hey, you're like God. You can make your own decision. You know what's best for you. And so that's what pride is. That was his fault. He's like, you know what? I could be like God. Like, so his fault was that pride. So God's like, no, you can't be like that. To be with me, everyone here is humble. And humble is not just humble for God, because Satan does that. It's humble for man. That's the truth. And Moses, the reason why he was a friend of God, closest to God, right? Especially at that time, like everyone thought he was God, right? At some stuff he was doing. Why? Because God said he was the meekness, and meekness is the Hebrew word of humility in the Bible. It's not being a doormat. That's what Superman is my favorite character. It's like being like Superman. Jesus was basically like Superman. Hey, I can strike you. I can mess you up. Even whenever Pilate whenever he was trial, he was like, I can call down a legion of angels, not like that. But I'm not going to, because I recognize what God wants me to do. He wants me to submit to this situation I'm going through. And that's what this is. It's about submitting between man. And you know what? I don't want to argue, bro. Like, even if I'm right, time will tell that I'm right. Let's just keep the peace. It's that submission, but it's hard to do that. Humility and pride. So going like slap the cheek, what is that? Someone strikes you. What's the ultimate humility? You, bro, do this one too. If someone steals for you, hey, give me, because you show the ultimate form of what you're supposed to be as human nature, right? And so a person who's living in the middle of the jungle that has never experienced Jesus Christ, people back in the day that never experienced Jesus Christ, what was the whole point of the Torah? What was the whole point of the law? It's to teach you how to live humility between man. Not before God. That's what it is. Thou shalt love your God. Everyone knows that. But what is thou shalt not steal? Thou shalt not covet. All those laws is to learn to live with yourself, live with brothers and sisters, humble, right? Since we still didn't get that, it's almost like God was yelling at his people, hey, guys, these are the laws. You know what? I'm going to give you a little book for y'all to follow. Oh, they still don't get it. I'm going to come down and demonstrate what I mean. And that's what Jesus was. He was the fulfillment of that law. He demonstrated what it is to live humility on this earth. And so that's why Jesus said, you know what? You guys still don't get it. Just all those, I forget how many laws it was. It was like 6,000 laws, bro. It's all those laws you guys have. It just sums up in these two. Love your God, right? Which everyone understands that. Every religion understands that. But to love your neighbor as yourself. And only Christianity promotes that 100%. All the other religions, they do so, but Christianity is the only religion in the world that's pro-death. Every other religion says do good works, even for your brother and for God, and it's to have a good life here. Christianity only talks about do good works so you can store up in heaven, so it's pro-death. Every religion is pro-life. When I heard like that concept, I was like, dang. And Jesus was the fulfillment of that. And that's why in the Garden of Gethsemane was the hardest moment of Jesus' life. He was sweating blood. He was like, it has to be another way. God said, that's the only way. I'm going to submit to that, and then I'm going to go through it. And he was submission unto death. That's why he's the savior, because he was the only one that was humiliated from birth to death, but he submitted under God's will unto death. And so that's what he's like. Does that make sense? So it's like that true humility. And the devil, his biggest trial, like he was trying to, like my dad even told me this story. Like I was speaking to him, like whenever he was getting tested, like, hey, you are God, or like you eat the bread, like you could do these things. He was getting tested, and he could. The whole point, like whenever he accepted God's will, whenever he said no to Satan, that was the true test. Everything else on the cross, the physical pain, he passed the test. The biggest test was the spiritual pain, which was on Garden of Gethsemane, accepting God's will. That's why he was sweating blood. That was the hardest part of the cross. The easiest part was the physical part where we go through. So in life, what's the hardest part? The physical or spiritual? it's always the spiritual part, changing your mind. That's internal change, always the hardest part to change rather than physical. When you change internally, when you go through physical stuff, you can go through it. So Jesus, the hardest part he went through was in Garden of Gethsemane, accepting that humility, accepting that inward change. That's what humility is that inward change, accepting that mindset, and that's why he fulfilled it. And so it goes back to humility and pride. So a person in the jungle, if they live a whole life of humility, there's always good and bad. You know what morals are. Even if you're in the jungle, you know not to kill someone. You know good not to steal. You know good morals. So if you're living a humble life in the wilderness, you die. Who are you going to meet? You're going to meet your Creator. What are you going to say? Man, that's who I've been praying my whole life, because he mimics the way I lived my life. If you live a prideful life, Jesus can appear to you tomorrow. You're still not going to accept him. So it's about like that pride, humility, and so everybody's going to have a chance to meet the Creator. And if you live the humble life, if you never accepted, you never received Jesus whenever, I don't know, let's say you lived in the jungle and you lived the 20 years and then you died. You never had a chance to meet Jesus. How did you live your life? Was it for others, or was it just simply for yourself? And that's what God's going to look at, because whenever you stand before the judge, God's going to judge your heart and look at that. And if you live the humble life, you're going to be like, man, that was who I was mimicking my whole life. You live the prideful life, you're going to deny him. And that's what it is. That's why Jesus came ugly. He came like, he didn't think he was like the king. He came as simple as possible on purpose. So people, if you're a humble heart, you can go help him on the street. You can see him. You can see the poor. You're willing to do that, because it's about that humility, and it's more inwardly. That was redundant. That was long, but
no, that was good, man. Honestly, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. And just not to misconstrue your words, because somebody may hear this and be like, "But I thought, you don't go to heaven through works." And you just mentioned, well, if somebody never, heard about Jesus, but they lived their life serving other people, then they're still going to get to heaven. I do good things, but I don't follow Jesus. Does that mean I'm not going to get to heaven, or I am going to get to heaven? Here's the thing. If you heard about Jesus Christ,
you have the opportunity.
You're a good person. By the way, like, unfortunately, like, the Bible says you're not going to get to heaven, because the Bible says the only way is through the Son, through Jesus Christ. That's the only way. It's not by works. If you choose to reject, but you're a good person, well, hey, thanks for contributing to society, but how about you contribute to the kingdom? Because you can actually do more good by serving the kingdom, by letting that light shine, by helping other people get to Christ, right? But man, there's this really good hood prophet. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is Jermaine Cole, and he has a song called "Pride is the Devil," right? And pride is the devil. Pride is the devil, bro. And here's the thing: when you're prideful, it gets in the way of so many different things. I'm confident in saying your pride will get in the way of your blessings. And if you don't believe me, then find out. And so that's, for me, I used to be a prideful person. I think all of us have been prideful at some point in our life. For me, when I was in my early 20s, I thought my poop didn't stink, right? So like nobody could tell me nothing at all. But that's just honestly, that life sucked. I did everything I wanted to do, how I lived for the world, and I was still lost, right? We talked about there's a God-sized hole, and only God can fit in it. And if you put all these other things in it, it just doesn't. It's not going to work. It just won't. But humility is the most important thing, especially with the topic that we're talking about and just how Christianity is on attack. When you have humility and you remove pride, well, guess what? That's going to decrease anger and frustration towards somebody else. Because if you live a humble life like Jesus, you turn the other cheek, you can still love your enemy. Like, that's where that verse comes into play. Love your enemy. Well, like, it's so hard to act on that, right? But if you can get your heart there, again, the hard work is the heart work. But if you can get your heart there, life is so beautiful, because somebody can come up to you, smack you in the face, like, man, I love you, I'm praying for you. Like, to the world, that makes zero sense. Again, we talked about, man, I want to crash out on our last episode. That makes sense to the world. That's justified to the world. But when you love people unconditionally, like for real, unconditionally, when they don't deserve it, it's beautiful. And it actually does so much more for you. it actually brings you closer to God because you're willing to love on other people. And yeah, man, it's amazing. It truly is. And it's been a work. It's been working on me. You know, like it's a continuous process. Like I think as men, we kind of struggle with pride and ego, maybe a little bit more. Maybe that's just my experience. But man, you've helped me a lot with humility. Even in this last year, like you've helped me grow in that and being more humble and just, man, we talked about it before, eat the frog. Sometimes the hard thing to do is be humble, is forgive, is love. But that's how we're supposed to live our life.
That's the hardest thing to do, bro. Like even in business, what happens with miss meeting or reschedule, or I'm not gonna do your product, or I'm not answering now. But then if you get pride about it and you're like, you know what, I don't like that guy, and then you're like bitter, and then when you see him, you don't talk to him. That's not the answer. If you're the person that don't burn bridges and you're like, you know what, they were busy, cool, it hurt me, but later on they're gonna be like, they're gonna respect that, and then when they do business with you, they're gonna also refer people with you because they'll be like, this person here, bro, I did this, and that, and I thought this of this person, but bro, like, you know what I mean? It's like that's why I always take the humility approach, even in all aspects, bro. But I think it's the hardest thing ever in life. That's the whole point. Like, I think pride is sin. That's what sin is.
Yeah.
Everything else, like, oh, I want to sleep around, or I want to murder, or I want to steal. That's the fruit of pride. Pride is like me. And so what's the opposite of that? Humility. And so when we talk about revival, we talk about, oh, I gotta want these fruits in my life. Well, it starts with humility first, and then that's the thing. It's so hard to do, but if you redo it every day, and I think you're always need to work on that. That's the whole point. Same thing with marriages. Marriages just helps you get. It's like marriage is like a tool to help you become more humble. Every part of life. No, seriously, that's what it is.
No, I'm laughing from personal experiences.
No, I mean, me too, bro. I mean, even kids is another tool to help you become more humble. When you start becoming leader, like the whole point of life is to make you humble. Even with I asked God this question, and I saw an old guy. I'm like, dang, God, you take us from needing help to become our own identity, doing our own stuff, back to needing help again when you're an older person. Because that's what God responded to me, bro. It was powerful. He was like, bro, I do that because I always wanted everyone to have all the chance to come to me. Why do you think people who've been prideful their whole lives, when they get to their elderly, when they need help, that's when they become humble, that's when they receive Christ? It's because their whole life they were pride, and then they realized, man, I need help to change. I need help to be changed. I need help to go to the restroom. What does that turn into? You start realizing that life ain't about me anymore. Then you start looking like, what can I do for people? Then that's when you start opening the door for Christ to start working your life. But it goes back to that humility, and that's the answer God gave me. I'm like, dang, so if I could just be humble early and just think about that daily and almost like brainwash myself at a young age, just be humble, and like live like that, how much more you can do for God. And that's what Proverbs is about. Young men, start early, like live a life of ethics, teach you morals, like teach you how to build wealth, like start that principle early because you're going to get married, you're going to be of age, and you're not going to have time to do a lot of good works for God because time is limited here on this earth. But
dude, you got me thinking because the question was like, what is the purpose of life? And you talked about humility, right? And for me, I was going to answer that by saying, well, we're here on this earth to serve God, bring other people to God. But a lot of times, this was crazy. A lot of times we want to do our own thing. We don't submit our lives to God, right? Why? Because we're being prideful. Why? Like that's why we need to be humble. That's why we need to live and lead with humility. That just blew my mind how both of those things connect.
Bro, I'm telling you, dog. And why? Because after I started learning things, God started teaching about David. It was like, why God asked me the question? Because I'm telling you, the guy was speaking a lot at that time. He still does, but he asked me the question like, why was David after man's heart? Moses was like, everyone's after God's heart. You're after God's heart. I'm after God's heart, right? But why is David highlighted out there? Because of the contentment, and contentment being content with what you have. Be faithful with the least, being faithful with the most. That comes from David. Like, are you content with being small? So David was anointed at 13, 14, 15, around that age, and he didn't become king until like 15 years later at 30. And then his biggest mentor, like he went to the palace. His biggest mentor, like Saul, like he was with him, like Saul was teaching him ethics, teaching how to become like a man. His man tried to kill him like twice. And then when he was running away because the whole kingdom was trying to kill him, chasing him, he had a moment where he could have killed Saul in the cave. Saul was using the restroom, and every one of his leaders were like, "Bro, this is your time. Go kill him. Go kill him. Like God said, you're gonna be king." And logically, you'd be like, "Yeah, they live in barbaric times. Like that's what happened. Like you would kill leaders and you would take their throne." So he was like, "Makes sense." It's like, but David was like, "No. God is perfect. If God anointed him and said he was the anointed king, God can take him out himself. I'm okay with what I have." And that's what David learned. That's what he was after. He was a man of contentment, a man of appreciate, like humility in the present moment. Like that's the true key. Like everyone has humility before God. Every religion does that, but it's about this humility here. Like that's what Christian couples. Remember we talked about that in one episode. Like why did they fight? Because they both wake up every day saying, "I need to be served. Like my needs need to be met," and vice versa. It's about me. Like I need to get pleasure. The only pleasure, everything you're supposed to get everything from God. Everything. And so if you're something you're not receiving, bro, it's maybe God is either saying you're not ready for, or just wait, or basically the answer is the same thing. Wait, my child, wait. You're not ready for it, or it's not time yet for you to have it.
Sheesh.
There's a lot, bro. I'm telling you, 20, like besides like the rabbit holes and crazy stuff that we talk about, which I ain't gonna mention all those, bro. There was a lot of like spiritual, like God was teaching me a lot of stuff because he was trying to teach me to keep it simple for his people. Like, keep it simple, bro. The gospel's not hard, bro. It's really not hard. It's just we make it hard because we get distracted and we like, oh, I want this now. I want this now. No, dude. Just narrow path.
Man, that's dope, bro. I don't even know where to take it from here, man.
Yeah, man. I could keep going, but I figure let's bring it back to Crown. Let's talk about some highlights that we have coming up. I know we have our 1 year anniversary. I don't know if you want to mention that and just talk about, unless you want to keep going, bro. But,
I mean, we can figure it out after we talk about this. Quick commercial break. October 9th, if you're in Dallas, Texas, or would like to come to Dallas, Texas, October 9th, we are hosting our 1 year anniversary of Crowned, and what a blessing it has been, and just the growth that we've experienced individually, but as an organization in 365 days has been just honestly just a God thing. So we're throwing a celebration for that. If you've never been to any of our previous events, this is the one that you want to come to.
Come on.
All right, come celebrate with us. Come celebrate that birthday. Again, it's not about us and what we did. Again, power of consistency. I guess I prefaced this whole episode for this moment right here. The power of consistency. You get blessed when you're consistent, okay? And so here we are a year later, and so many relationships have been built. We've built a community of over 500 different entrepreneurs, leaders, professionals, businesses that are all on fire for God. That's awesome. Okay. And so you want to be around those types of people. You want to be around a network of individuals, a community of individuals that are willing to support you because of what you believe in, what you stand on, but also can encourage you and love on you as we go through life. That's what's so dope about our events. Yeah, we talk about business, but man, we have so many intimate moments when it comes to our faith. And so you're not going to want to miss this. There's multiple ticket tiers that can work with your budget. You know, if you're a free pool people, we got some for free 99. All right. But don't be free 99. Let's blow this up. The VIP experience for this 1 year anniversary is going to be legit. It's $150. Pay the price. Stop counting the cost. All right. Because it's about, man, just elevating in everything that we do. Excellence in all we do. If you're going to do anything, do it as if you do it for the Lord. And you're just not going to want to miss it. Also, we have a Bible study coming up this month. We want to release that day and time. It's all on you, my friend, if you want to.
I think let's just TB announce.
TBD Bible study, but look for it in October. Man, we just came off an incredible weekend in San Antonio. We had the opportunity to speak at Paul Getter's Speakpreneur event. And man, let me tell you, we killed it. No, I'm just kidding. We did kill it, man. But here's the thing, like, we killed it based upon our own personal opinion. I don't really care about what anybody else thinks. We've got incredible feedback. So grateful for that. Not about us, but it's about the opportunity. So many people want to be successful. It's about opportunity and preparedness. That's where success happens. And so we've been building ourselves up over this last year. We had incredible opportunities that led to this moment, and we got to talk about Crown. We got to talk about faith in business to high level entrepreneurs. There's people like Paul Getter there, Brian Page, Akbar Sheikh, right? People that are killing it in business. And we got to stand in front of them and be bold about our faith and stand on business. So we love the Speakpreneur team. Paul Getter is absolutely amazing. Everybody that we met there, so amazing. We're excited to continue building relationships with you. But again, the power of consistency. If we quit, we would not have that speaking opportunity.
Right. Right.
And so keep going, keep growing, keep elevating what you're doing, because opportunities will happen for you. We are not special. I promise you, we are not.
God is, though.
But God is.
God always takes imperfect people to do great, mighty things. So that's been biblical. It's been history. And we're just one of those people, imperfect people, figuring it out and just do it, actually just being obedient and just taking one day at a time.
But we like to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to mention October 9th for sure about the event. Man, that $150 offer, like, don't think about it as a price. Think about it as, hey, I'm this is where I'm at in my business. I'm stuck. I need something. That right there, I can't guarantee you new clients for sure, but I do guarantee you to give you the resources or the tools or the connection that you need to unlock your next business. Okay.
Absolutely, man.
Because, man, like, we have, even being Brian Paul Getter and proud of the team, those are the relationships we have. We have so many connections that there's your business is stuck at one point. It's just a connection away to getting 6 figures, coming to Crown, being a part of our network, being a part of our events, being the VIP experience. You're definitely going to want to make that. And I want to also highlight San Antonio. We're going to come through October 31st. We're teaming up with Iron Forest Gym. Upcoming, man, they're killing it. They do events over 300 people plus, and it's always packed. They do worship nights, they do fitness events, but we're going to team up with them to do a Crown event and a faith and fitness event for the community. And so October 31st, you guys will be known about that. Look at all our social medias. I'm pretty sure if you're following this, you're watching this, you will see about it. But if you're in San Antonio, join us October 31st, 7 p.m.
Absolutely, man. That's going to be super dope. Some little faith and fitness. But I want to go back to the VIP ticket price, right? Like, and I want to build off that, because sometimes people may have a broke mentality. A lot of Christians do, but here's the thing: people ask us, to work with us, right? And to work with us, hey, yesterday's price is not today's price, as Fat Joe said. All right, but I'm being silly. But what a great way to build relationships and get counseling on something, right? You don't want to pay that price of what it costs to work with us. Well, guess what? Pay $150. You got our ear for a couple of hours. You get to build that relationship. And if we can't help you, I promise you, we know somebody that can expand and grow your business better than we can. Okay. And so whether it's, hey, I need advice on this, I need perspective on this. Hey, can you help me grow my business? Hey, I want to write a book. Hey, I'm thinking about XYZ. We got you, my brother, my sister. Come, it's great fellowship, and honestly, those are where the greatest relationships are built. They're built through VIP experiences. Why? Because you paid the price. Everybody there also paid the price. You're not hanging around fruitful people. You're hanging around people that are really about it. Again, we talk about faith and action. You got to combine those two. And so you never know what $150 can do for you. Like, come on, guys, $150. So it's going to be amazing, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I got, my guy. Excellent episode. I love the topics, bro. It gets more and more challenging because tougher topics, but that's what I'm here for, bro. So y'all stay tuned. Next episode is going to be excellent, episode 40. So that's all I got, my man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Eventually one day we'll be talking about the Nephilim and the Ark of the Covenant and all these biblical mysteries. And
don't get me started, bro.
I love it, man, because that's gonna be a fun episode. But until that episode, thank you so much for joining us for episode 39 of the CROWNEDCAST podcast. Oh, before we go, I just want to say shout out to everybody that watched our last video. I like sharing, wins for us, because you guys are a part of the wins. You guys are a part of it too. Crown isn't about us, it's about the kingdom. And as we grow as a kingdom, like, it's cool to share. By no means are we Joe Rogan numbers or anything like that. All right. We're not doing Joe Rogan numbers, we're doing Joseph Honeysett numbers. Okay. And so our last episode got to our highest view count on our YouTube podcast of 280 views. I think that's incredible. We were averaging about 50, 60, I think 99 or somewhere around 100 was where we were at per episode. But guess what, man? We surpassed that. And now it's about increasing that. That's the new bar. It's like, all right, we did something right. Let's keep on expanding. Let's keep on growing. Let's keep on being consistent so we can actually see when we're going to break that and when we're going to surpass that. So thank you to everybody that watched that has tuned into the CROWNEDCAST, that has watched the growth happen real time. Because if you missed out the growth, go start watching from episode 1. My good, it is. We all
maybe you do
0, man. So thank you to everybody that tuned in for that. Tune in for this. Share this with your mama, your grandma, your mima, and anybody else in between. We will see you on our next episode next week. And Mr. Joel, you're gonna pray us out.
Exactly, my guy.
On, dude. Exactly. Episode 39. I know what's going on.
Okay, cool, man. I was like, man, don't forget that prayer, brother. But yeah, let me press out. Father, I thank you. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for giving us another day of life. You want us to accomplish many things, and sometimes we don't understand what we go through. We don't understand what you're doing behind the scenes. But God, we can just trust you. Thank you that iron sharpens iron. And today we just talked about that consistency going to you, but also just with the brothers and sisters, like meeting and consistently doing what you call us to do. It's hard work, but God, I know you are faithful, and that you're helping us build endurance and perseverance through this trial. So I just thank you that we can go through this, and we're not alone. The viewers watching, they're going through it too. I just pray, Father, that you meet us where we're at. Your word says when we draw near to you, you will draw near to us. So as we get closer to what you call us to do, help us to have a hunger for you, hunger for your presence. But I just pray for those watching, continue to heal them mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, Lord. Meet them with what they have, Father. And I just pray for Crown as itself as it grows. Let it be a true vehicle for you. God, we're not here for ourselves. We are just here for you and for others, Lord. So I just pray, let Crown grow, whether it's the podcast, whether it's our events, whether it's our coaching, whether it's our community. Just God, grow it in your timing. We are here for it. I just pray you give us the strength we need and protection in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Another one in the books. See y'all for episode 40. Peace.